Last week, we took a look at how much my truck camper weighed. This week, we're going to take a look at the cost. Because let's face it, cost is a big reason why many of us take on a DIY build project in the first place. We're trying to save a little bit of money when some of the cheapest truck camper toppers without any interior build or anything are $8,000 plus, and some of the nicer ones are $13,000, $14,000, $15,000. Of course, building is still fun to create something unique and that's your own, and it can be a really good experience. But for me personally, cost was definitely a factor when it came to deciding to build a truck camper instead of purchasing a brand new one. Now, it was also a matter of how available truck campers were at that time. At the end of 2022, when I first started looking into truck campers, a lot of the companies still had 6-month, 12-month lead times to get that truck camper to you. So I wanted one a little bit sooner than that. So time did play a role as well, but cost was a big factor. So for today's video, I went ahead and I took my book of camper expenses and I took all of the receipts that I had stashed in there, went through all of them, stuck them in a Google spreadsheet, and I'm going to let you know how the cost breakdown for this truck camper went. For this build, we did have a couple of supplies already in the wood shop, so I didn't have to buy very many tools, and we already had a couple 2x4s and things like that when we very first got started. But this is going to be a list of everything that I purchased during the truck camper build to make this DIY truck camper. So let's start by taking a look at the wood that was used. For my DIY truck camper project, I spent a total of $636.18 on wood. That wood was comprised of 13 1/4 inch birch plywood panels. They were 4x8 panels. And then we did one sheet of 1/2 inch birch plywood. There were 12 2x4s that were 8 feet in length and 2 2x4s that were 10 feet in length. There were 2 1x6s that were 6 feet in length and 2 1x6s that were 10 feet in length. And that's what totaled up to the first $636.18 of the truck build. Then I spent a little bit of money on the foam as well. So we got a foam fan fold that was about 1/4 inch thick that lined some of our pop-up walls, right? And I had some 1/2 inch foam, but mostly I had 1 inch foam. And so we had a total of 4 sheets of 1 inch foam. Those are also 4x8 panels. And the total cost for all the foam used in the build was $162. 58 cents too, if you're keeping close tabs on this. Then I needed a bunch of canvas and some paint to do the exterior poor man's fiberglassing. Now, like I mentioned in the build video, I did get some of the paint from the recycling center, and so that paint was free, but I paid for the final coat color because I wanted to have a very specific look to the truck camper. And so paint and canvas were a total of $180.83. That was 2 cans of paint and 2 12x15 painter's cloth, drop cloth canvas from Home Depot, plus a canvas drop cloth that was a 6x9 foot size. I also spent a little bit of money on paneling. So I have the pine paneling on the inside of the truck camper for a little more finished look. And then I had that NRP panel on the outside of the triangular shaped pop-up walls. Now, keep in mind that this total does include the cost for both walls that were done on my truck campers, the full pop-up and the wedge pop-up style. But the paneling cost, I spent $28.99 on that NRP paneling, and the pine paneling was about $57.98. I bought a handle lock for the back door, and that was $32.93. And then for all of kind of the hardware and miscellaneous pieces, so screws and piano hinge and the aluminum angle and all of that, that was one of the bigger costs. So that was about $787.80. And that really does include almost everything else we bought at Menards. So weather stripping and all of that. Wood glue. I didn't put the wood glue in the PMF because I used it for both portions. We had to buy 2 bottles of Titebond 2 glue. So that was all there as well. And then I also bought a few items on Amazon. On Amazon, I purchased 3 products. So I got the mounting clamps to mount the truck camper to my bed rails. And then I also got camper latches to latch down the roof on the main body of the truck camper. When we also got the back window that goes in the back door from Amazon. So those 3 items, the mounting clamps for 2 sets was $99. The latches were $19 and the back window was $140 by the time you got taxes on it. So that's what we ordered from Amazon. And then I also needed to get those gas struts that help push up the roof. Now, I did get 4 of those, 2 sets, because originally I was doing the full pop-up. So this is the cost for the full pop-up, 2 sets, 4 total gas struts. And those came from Lift Support Depot, and they were $246.53. So that makes the grand total for my DIY truck camper build, at least the shell portion. We haven't finished the full interior build yet, but the shell portion that would directly compare to what you'd be purchasing from a lot of the truck camper topper companies. So like Project M, Overland, Hiatus, things like that. So if they're coming with nothing inside of them and you're just getting the shell, this is the comparison cost. And the total for my build was $2,373.70. Overall, I'm really happy with that total, since the cheapest truck camper topper that I had really found was $8,500. The $2,300, that's $6,000 that I saved by doing this build myself. Obviously, you're using your time and resources and things like that. And if you don't have some of the tools already, it's going to be a little bit more expensive to do a DIY build. But having the tools there, again, so thankful for my dad's wood shop and his skills. I was just able to buy the supplies for this build, and I came in at $2,373.70. I'm also curious to hear how much other people's builds have cost. So if you've done a DIY truck camper build and are willing to share the details below, leave a comment and let us know, how much did your build cost? And are there ways that we can do this cheaper and save more money? Because everyone's on some type of budget, and we're just trying to find a good, easy way to get structure on our trucks and get out there and enjoy nature. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. And stay tuned for next week when I discuss how this truck camper has been affecting my gas mileage. Happy adventuring, everyone.